You are listening to Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast, a podcast where we believe wrestling is a buffet and there's something there for everyone. Make sure you're following us on all social media such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook under Two Heels and a Face. That's number 2, Heels and a Face. Make sure you check out our website, twoheelsandaface.com.
Era, Two Heels and a Face.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Twos and Face Wrestling Podcast. This is part 2 of the real Jeremy Zaha final lap of Two Heels and a Face. He can be on again if he wants to. I don't know if he wants to, but the real Jeremy Zaha is here. If you don't know who he is, another welcome back chant. Another one.
Nice. I mean, it's been so long since I was last on an episode, so I think that welcome back is most deserved.
Yeah, it was like 2 buffet brackets ago. So the last buffet bracket, well, it might have been 3 even. You were on the comedy buffet bracket, but the last buffet bracket we had was not that. And then I don't know what last year's was, Chris. I know we went through this on an episode together. But I don't remember the order. We started naming. Chris was like, "Oh, we did a buffet bracket on this," and I'm like, "No, we didn't." And then I found the graphic later. It's like, "Oh shit, we did." That's 8 years of brain rot for you. But yeah, you're here again. You're here for your victory lap, and you're a treasured guest on this podcast. Always will be, and it's in the archives of Two Heels and a Face. And Chris has a special thing for us today. Chris.
I do. I have so I had this idea of would you rather episode, wrestling edition, right? And I think it's fitting that Jeremy's here to bring in some of those wrestling thoughts. It's he's pretty much a biz guy.
He's in the biz.
He's in the biz.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about biz, real quick, I'll take this opportunity. Marty and Sarah are back.
Oh, it's
now
true.
Marty and Sarah love wrestling, but now it's Marty and Sarah. So
Have you
welcoming them back. I have.
Welcome back.
They're two episodes in, and they're enjoying life. So just happy to hear them back on the airwaves of the podcasting world.
Amazing.
But
Hey, that means that there's hope for you guys to come back.
There is.
Maybe we also take a 2-year hiatus.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, Chris will have 5 more kids by then.
Whoa. No, knock on wood. Don't joke around with that stuff. No more kids. No more niños.
You know how to prevent that, Chris.
Do I? Let's just hope there's not another COVID, because then that keeps us in the house.
Oh no! Oh no! An idle Chris in the house. Not great. Not great for the. I don't know. Your bank account, maybe.
Yeah. Well-being. But
I mean,
but yeah,
you're at the age now where your oldest can help with the rearing of the children, though. So really, it's not gonna be as bad.
Yeah.
I remember being 8 years old and taking care of my siblings. I don't see my daughter doing that. But I also at that age. I sneezed this weekend and I injured myself.
Oh, throughout the back?
No, something like pulled like by my shoulder. It was weird. I was like how does this happen? But yes, I'm at an age where no more kids for me.
Okay.
Maybe I'll be down for another puppy. I like dogs. I got 2, and they're also up in age. So, dogs are welcome. Kids, stop it. No more. But
That's fair.
Jeremy, real quick. I know last episode we talked a little bit about Pro Wrestling Tees, the stuff that you're doing over there. I mean, I want to think by the time this releases, like I just, visited Pro Wrestling Tees because you said it was a great website. We should go check it out. So I did. And 12 years, 12-year anniversary of Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah. Honestly,
mean,
this is even a bigger deal because most of our logo merch is very low priced.
Mm.
Mostly because I mean, if you're wearing a Pro Wrestling Tees shirt, you're walking billboard for us. So like we try to keep Pro Wrestling Tees like logo stuff pretty cheap, and then to get another 35% off using promo code 12 years. I mean, how can you not like that? And if you're listening to this after the sale, you're still getting a great price on the Pro Wrestling Tees stuff. So definitely check that out.
Dude, we need to get you in front of a camera more promoting. It's just a seamless promo. It's like the anti Sid Vicious promo for Pro Wrestling Tees. Like you were in the
Well, I'm terrible at softball, so
I don't know if I got that joke.
Oh, Sid Vicious?
Yeah.
He famously would miss wrestling bookings. And then everyone knew it was because it was softball season. And
he was playing softball. Did not know that. And that's why we got you on the pod, for that kind of comedic knowledge. That's why you're here. That's why we pay you the big bucks.
Well, I get paid for this?
Maybe.
Nice.
I did get like I said on the last episode, very briefly, I did not get selected for jury duty, but I did get a summons, and I got a $35 check. So if you want to see a little piece of that, you better come up with some good jokes this episode.
Hey, hold on, let me take the shirt off.
This is what we're waiting for.
All right, Chris, what do we got?
Yeah, we got Would You Rather. So we're gonna go through a few, maybe halfway through. I'm not sure, but it's all Would You Rather, right? And we have categories. We have classic versus modern. We have WWE versus WCW. We have lucha libre. We have bookings. We have gimmicks, dream matches, and then there's a quick round somewhere in there. So I'm gonna start, and you know, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. And we're going to start with WWE versus WCW. Right. Okay. And we're going to open up with, would you rather have Goldberg's WCW streak never ended or Stone Cold never get injured?
I know for a fact it's Stone Cold. Like it's insane when you think about how short his actual run on top was. Like,
yeah,
he really he blew up in 1996, and then like basically retired in 2003. So that's 7 years. And even that, like, there were periods of time, like multiple times where he was gone for over a year in that. So it's like, imagine if Stone Cold was able to like stay in through early 2000s.
This is the injury that eventually retired him, right? This isn't the Owen Hart, the injury that came from the Owen Hart.
That's what it all stemmed from.
Is that the same injury? Yeah. Am I thinking the same thing in my head?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it like
out of the pile driver.
Oh, so it's it's recurring effects from that, or am I wrong?
Yeah, he was never the same again after that.
He was never the same again after that. I see. Yeah, I think it's probably good that we all don't agree on all of these, and I don't think we will.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think the problem wasn't that Goldberg's streak ended. The problem was the way that it ended. If you build up a streak like that for so long, that's just a powder keg. You just have to light it the right way and let it go off the right way. And they didn't do that. So yeah, Goldberg's streak should have ended, but just do it in a better way for like maybe someone who needs it more. And you know, I know they did like that kind of like weird taser finish and things like that. So, which I just don't remember like being that cool. So yeah, I would have to agree with Jeremy on this one. Chris, what do you think?
For me, it's Stone Cold. That's what kind of grabbed me into the WWE side of things, the professional wrestling, American style thing. I was coming from the lucha world, and Stone Cold is what grabbed my attention. And now thinking about it, it's like yeah, it was short lived. It was awesome. But what if he could have done more? You know, like stuck around a little longer or done different things? Because to Jeremy's point, like Stone Cold being out for 6 months, a year at a time, like maybe you know that also played into it, right? Like we were all waiting for that comeback. So
The glass to break.
exactly.
Yeah, 7 years. When you think, oh, hey, our podcast lasted longer than
And then Stone Cold's run.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah,
it was
100%.
so much and so compact, right? You know.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
you look
that's
at
crazy.
this is being recorded right after Our Truth just got released. I mean, Our Truth is in his mid-50s and like still wrestling. Like imagine if Stone Cold was able to do that. Like how crazy would it have been to see like Stone Cold Randy Orton, Stone
Yeah.
Cold Seth Rollins, like, and not like his match with Kevin Owens was great, but it wasn't like a real match. It was just a brawl. But imagine
Right.
if like he was still wrestling. Imagine Stone Cold getting like that Sting run that Sting just had. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we'll never know.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the next question. It's a Sting related question.
Oh,
Would you rather see Sting debut in WWE in the early 2000s or have The Undertaker show up in WCW during the Monday Night Wars?
These are interesting, Chris. I'm impressed. I don't. Did you get these from ChatGPT or where'd you get
Listen,
these
Charlie, do not get, do not start digging into how I ended up with these questions.
These are things I don't see Chris really randomly pondering, but I applaud Chris for doing the agenda today, and you did a fantastic job so far. I can start with this one. Man, it would have been crazy for Undertaker to show. I think Sting debuting, because what's always bothered, and this is why, like, it's always bothered me that the invasion angle was never like a true WCW versus WWF. Like the teams in that invasion pay-per-view, like 2 or 3 people on the team WCW were like WWE guys that just crossed. And it just never really felt like WCW had all their best guys, because they didn't, because there was like contract stuff and things going on like that. You know, it was just like they had Booker T was elevated. He was better. They kind of like castrated DDP in like kind of a weird way, where he should have been in that main event. DDP should have been in that main event. Booker T should have been there. Sting should have been there. Like, if maybe even like the Steiners represent WCW to me. So yeah, it was just like such a weird 5 versus 5 tag, and it's just like WCW didn't have all their stars, and maybe they would have had Sting if Sting would have kind of came over initially. So that, I guess that's my answer. But
yep, I think that's definitely my answer too. I think the one thing that I think we take for granted, and one thing that WWE has always done pretty well, is their pomp and circumstance. And with a character like Sting, like when Sting debuted for WWE in 2015, like way past when he should have been there.
Yeah,
like it was cool. Like they did a good job. I mean, they didn't know how to book him, but like the actual, like the aura, as the kids say. I'm really hitting all the youth lingo.
You really are.
These 2 podcasts. Yeah, I'm young. You may see some gray in my beard, but I'm actually kind of young.
Young at heart.
Yeah, but I mean, I think WWE would have done a great job with like just like creating a lot of pomp and circumstance around Sting. So, I mean, they would have messed it up at the end, but
sure,
it would have been cool. Would have been a cool moment. That's what WWE does really well, is moments.
Yeah.
Not so much the wrestling, but the moments.
Well said.
Agreed. I'm gonna move us along here, and where would you rather be, front row, at the monorail screw job or the finger poke of doom?
This is so stupid.
Where would as a kid, where would you have been the most pissed at? Like if you attended that show and the finger poke of doom happened, or Brett, screw Brett.
Well, most pissed, I think, changes the question a little bit, but I think I would have been more pissed at the finger poke of doom because I would have been a little bit older, and I would have I paid money to see that, or well, I would have been paying it. I don't know what, maybe it probably still would have been not my own money, but I think I would have been more pissed at that. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, for sure. I would want to be front row for the Montreal Screwjob because really what you would get is like they've released all this footage later on, but you would have seen in real time the chaos at ringside.
Mhm.
Like all the people like, I don't know what's supposed to happen. Like there's only like 3 or 4 people that knew it was going to happen. So it would have been very interesting to see. The finger poke of doom, I would have been irate at because like it was built up as a big main event and then have that happen. And again, like you said, paying front row money, like just being in the building, like paying to see that, I would be upset. But
do you think that if you were okay, so Montreal Screwjob was that 96?
97.
97? We were still pretty young. Do you think that would have ruined? I think like 97, there's probably still some kayfabe, right? A little bit, maybe. Or no?
I mean, I
believe a
was
little bit?
8.
Yeah.
I was 8. I think I always knew wrestling wasn't always on the up and up, as some might say. Kids, close your ears. But I think so. I would that wouldn't have been a thing. But I don't think I would have wanted to believe that everything that was happening was supposed to happen. I think that having that happen, like, why are they doing this? Like, what? When Bret Hart does the WCW, like at that time, I wasn't even watching WWE. I was watching WCW. That's how I got into wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But like I heard, like, oh, Bret Hart's coming. It's like, oh, I Bret Hart. I know that name. Like that's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah.
And then the wet fart he got when he actually came to WCW, I was like, oh, I gotta go back and watch this WWF stuff.
Do you think okay, so like your front row, do you think like you would have overheard people with like that's not supposed to happen, and then that would have like kind of shattered like the little belief you may have had at that age, like that, I don't know, like your little belief in it, like this is actually not scripted, like the kayfabe part of you. I don't know. That would have been, it's just because I would have been younger, it would have been a weird dynamic, I think, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll never know. I wasn't front row. They didn't let me in the country. Canada at that
point. You were in Ohio, different country at that point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, would have been. Yeah, it would have been nice. It would have been close. Could have drove up.
Yeah.
Should have driven up.
Chris, what do you think?
I was 8, and I think I could not have left the country, so
oh shit! That was a real Jeremy's joke just became reality for Chris in that moment. I'm so sorry.
Oh no!
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. But yeah, I was not following WCW like that, so yeah, I think I would have wanted to be front row, like Jeremy said, like because now you see all the stuff that happened and like being there and kind of experiencing what was going on ringside, and hopefully on the other side or maybe a little to the side, not directly right behind Vince when he gets spit on, but that definitely a front row to the side a little bit.
Yeah, it would have been a cool feather in your cap. To your point, Jeremy, it would have been a cool feather in your cap to be like, damn, I was there. That would have been a cool feather in your cap.
All right. So let's do a little bit and I'm gonna start hopping around classic versus modern. Would you rather watch nothing but Attitude Era content forever, or only post 2020 WWE, AEW, TNA, NXT?
Oh, God.
If you had to pick,
ooh,
just watch.
I know this is tough for Jeremy because We know where the flag is with Jeremy here.
Hey, I mean, I'm not directly employed by AEW.
Dude, a lot of okay. You know what? I maybe have a follow-up question to this, but a lot of the actual Attitude Era wrestling sucks. Like if you watch, like, it's just all throwouts and dirty. Like the gimmicks and the wildness of it
That's a fair point.
is what we remember. But like if you look at the actual match, there were so many disqualifications leading up to pay-per-views, like on Raw, like so many. Like when I would like watch
Mae
it back,
Young went
I'm
through
like,
so many tables by the
like we
Dudleys.
can't even get a result of a match, like a pinfall. But yeah, so like the Attitude Era is more like those clips, those like that you like, you know, those outrageous things that you like send to people. So I think I would do post 2020 just because like you're getting more meat of the actual matches.
Yeah, I'm definitely post 2020 because even like the pandemic era, like the wrestling wasn't bad. Like, and it was an exciting time because there was definitely a change in the wrestling industry around then. Because I mean, obviously AEW growing and there being a viable competitor. No offense to TNA and MLW and Lucha Underground, all the companies that tried. I don't think they really never had the resources to truly compete with WWE. And not that it's a true competition too, because that's one thing that drives me crazy is when everyone's like, oh man, if you like this one, you can't like the other one. It's like, no, you don't work for these people. Like you could just like wrestling and just like what you like. I mean, as you guys with the wrestling's a buffet. And I don't think that Attitude Era had the same level of competition. It would be fun for like 2 weeks. You're like, oh man, yeah, that was a cool moment. That was a cool moment. That was a cool moment. And then you realize like
a lot of that stuff
kind of saw
didn't age
everything.
so well.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can't. I'm not allowed to watch this anymore. I'm an adult and I can't watch this anymore.
I'm follow-up question
myself now.
Follow-up question. You get to keep all the Attitude Era content that ever existed, or you keep like 2020 through 2010, let's say. And so you get to just keep one. So you would erase one. I guess we'll say 2020 to 2025. Maybe is a fair question. But there's two libraries, 2020 to 2025, or everything Attitude Era. One you get to keep forever, and one is erased and vanished forever.
That one's tough.
Because when you say Attitude Era, I think WWE, but then you said 2020 to 2025. Is it still WWE?
Yeah. Yes. I'll say yes. Yeah. So it's like all the Attitude Era, the Monday Night War stuff. You get like the prime of wrestling. You get to keep it. But I'll say, I guess 2020 and 2025 is only 5 years, right? So okay. Sorry, I said this wrong. We'll say post Attitude Era. So maybe like we'll say start of Ruthless Aggression to present day. That's what I meant to say. Start of Ruthless Aggression to present day versus the Attitude Era. So if you were to take start of Ruthless Aggression, which I think came after Attitude Era, let's just say that. I don't know if there was like a blip in between or not. You get to keep all that, or like Attitude Era, and you can include indies too if you want in both. But like you're throwing out the Attitude Era for basically everything after it to present day. Like which library are you keeping forever?
Attitude Era is gone. As
soon as you
said indies, I was like, I'm not losing early 2000s Ring of Honor. I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna lose CM Punk, Bryan Danielson. I'm not gonna lose.
I love that.
Like
if I exclude indies, would it change?
Eddie Guerrero. Well, no, because you have like Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and WWE.
True.
You have
Eddie's run
redacted.
Height.
Yeah.
Snuck that
Yeah,
in there.
you
I
have a
almost
lot,
made an
like,
Our Lady.
there was
I almost made an Our Lady of Peace joke earlier, and I refrained. But
Oh no.
I was like, "Does Our Lady of Peace have a pro wrestling tee store?" I'm sorry. Continue. Oh,
Ruthless
boy.
Aggression era was 2002 through 2008.
Yeah, just like right when the Attitude Era ended. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting the Attitude Era up against like a giant library. That's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's gone.
I
Delete it.
think
Okay. Jeremy says
I
delete
would.
it.
I say keep Attitude Era.
Okay. That's a decent one though, isn't it?
If I didn't have that, I didn't learn English. That's how I learned it.
Then that's fair.
This would be a
That's
very
fair.
different podcast.
Yeah.
We're trying to do Spanish episodes. Chris, how are those going? Are those in the works?
And they're in the works. They're cooking.
They're cooking. Been cooking for a bit. They might be crispy at this point.
Little burnt. It's still good.
Okay, yeah. So Jeremy wants Eddie stuff. Jeremy wants the indies of it. That's fair. I think that's fair because like those RH indies, that's like your peak, right, Jeremy? Kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably when I was most into wrestling.
Okay, that's fair. Sorry, we got sidetracked.
All right. No, it's all good. We brought up Eddie. I'm gonna skip around to dream matches. Would you rather see Eddie Guerrero versus Ric Flair in 1998 or Shawn Michaels versus Sting in 2006?
Whoa.
Oh.
Yo, ChatGPT went wild with this one.
Yeah.
Yo, listen, I spend a lot of time on this, all right?
Yeah.
No, ChatGPT was off the hook. What prompt did you put in for this to come out? It's crazy.
We'll release the prompt on our Patreon. So if you want the prompt.
Yeah. I remember Jeremy was pushing for us over Patreon, which because he's a good dude. He's like, yeah, you could charge people like $1. And it's probably a good idea at the time, but
yeah.
Dude, there's no way Flair would work with Eddie and like have an actual match, right? Let's weaken ourselves.
98 Flair probably not, because 98 Flair was kind of, he felt he was probably towards the end of his career. It still would have been good, but I definitely think that it wouldn't be the same as like if you had Prime Eddie versus like 80s Flair. Like that's the match I would want to see.
Sting versus Shawn. I'm trying to think of what that would be like in 06.
06.
That would still be cool.
They were both
that was
enjoying the same
I feel like Sting versus like the Sting versus Taker holds more water, maybe.
Yeah, but Charlie, ChatGPT didn't give us that option.
ChatGPT did not give Cris GPT
You gotta
did not give
respect
us that option.
Our AI overlords. our Cris AI overlords.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say Eddie and Flair. I think like okay, I love Sting. Sting versus Shawn I guess I never really thought of that one. I thought of Sting, I felt like with other people, and I feel like if Cris GPT would have said like Sting versus Taker, then it would have been like that's a moment that would be a moment. That would be to Jeremy's point. WWE would harness that moment and do it really well. So I'll say Eddie Flair.
Yeah, I think that's the match that I didn't know I wanted. Like, I definitely want to see Eddie versus Ric Flair.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Sting with Shawn Michaels because I mean, Shawn Michaels was able to wrestle with God, so that's right around that same time too. So imagine
he can still work in 06 too.
The Crow,
Michaels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sting was in TNA, and he was putting on some great matches too. So
that's true.
All right, I'm gonna ask this next one. I'm gonna ask this next one just because I think it'll make Jeremy think a little bit here. Maybe not. Bret Hart versus Bryan Danielson, or Roman Reigns versus Goldberg.
Oh God!
1998.
No.
1998 though.
No, it's Bret Hart,
1998 Goldberg.
Bryan Danielson.
No,
There's no that I don't need to think. I
I
thought
knew it.
about all the other ones, but this one, Bret Hart for Bryan Danielson, like would be a dream match. Oh boy, that's
in their primes, like prime and prime,
Yeah.
prime versus prime.
I'd
Okay,
watch them wrestle now, and no one would really want that, but me, and I'd be like, oh, they could, like, just Bret Hart putting the sharpshooter once on Bryan Danielson. Like, how great would that have been?
that would be great.
They were on a team together once, though, right? And like Bret Hart's like weird no bump run in WWE when he faced Vince McMahon.
Was he wearing the jean shorts?
I think so. I think that was when
Jean short
I
run.
don't remember that.
Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan came back after he was fired for trying to kill Justin Roberts.
Nice.
But he came back as like a multi-man team against Nexus. And I feel like Bret Hart was on that team.
Maybe, yeah.
So they were on the same team once. They wrestled in the same match once.
He was wearing like it's like the hockey jersey jean short look, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because he couldn't take any bumps because it was after his concussion and I think stroke maybe. So like he wasn't allowed to take any bumps. So he basically just did a bunch of punches and then the sharpshooter, which I'm okay with. That was so great.
How much would someone have to pay you to willfully watch Goldberg versus Reigns in their prime versus Hart versus Bryan Daniels in their prime? Like, what would be that price tag, or is that priceless to you, Jeremy?
So like I just don't get to see the other one.
You don't get to see the other one. You have to go into the. Let's say there's two theaters. You have to go into the theater with Reigns versus Goldberg, but you get like a large lump of change in your pocket. What would that lump of change be?
I mean, I as the $1 Million Man once said, everyone's got a price. I don't know. Start throwing me offers. I mean, we'll see. I'm sure we can negotiate something.
10K?
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Let's leave this up to fantasy. We'll never really know.
Let's back it out.
Unless maybe 100K, I might give an answer. $1 million, I'll do whatever you want.
See, let's see how many views this gets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If this gets 1 million views, I will book Roman Reigns versus Goldberg right now. And that's all I'll watch. 1 million views. You got to show me it.
We'll have ChatGPT create the match.
Yeah, perfect.
There you go. All right. Booking and career choices. Would you rather take a stiff chair shot from Mick Foley or a chop from Gunther?
Chair shot.
Wow. Is a chair shot on my head or on my back?
Yeah, I would say chair shot. My family has a history of heart problems. I feel like if I get hit, something can happen.
Oh man, there was one time where before Walter made it to WWE, he signed autographs for our crate, and the image they used was him basically imploding someone's chest during the chop, and I just to see that over and over again, I'm like, geez, like that will drive nightmares. So I'd probably take the chair shot.
What about you? You gotta answer this one.
I'll take the chop. I mean, I know I just said that I sneezed and I heard something, and I feel like that chop was just destroying me, but I'll go for the chop. I don't know about that chair shot because automatically in my mind, a chair shot was to the head. And when I think of Mick Foley, I do think of like that Cactus Jack era. So I'm like, too violent for me. Maybe the chop I can handle. I'll just, take 4 weeks of PTO and I'll be all right.
There you
go. Let's see what else we got here. Scrolling through. And I know we were supposed to make this a shorter episode. We're at the 34th minute, but
Just pick the gems out of your list.
yeah. Let's see here. I'm scrolling through. Would you rather bring back the Hardcore Championship or create a Trios Championship for WWE?
That's an interesting one.
I like the Hardcore Championship when it was that 24-hour rule, right? Where like brawls will happen everywhere: the bar, the mall, the park.
Do they still have that 20? They don't have that 24/7 title, right? They had that for a little bit.
No.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I think
But they did
that one was when.
different.
Yeah, it went too far. Like the Hardcore Championship, it would change multiple times, but like the 24/7 title was changing like 8 times a show.
8?
Mhm.
And it's like, this is too much. Like, yeah, some shows like it'd just be like change.
And it'll be like in 30-second segments or some shit.
Yeah.
Mm.
The Hardcore title had some heft behind it, and like it was viewed as a real championship. So
It really was.
I'd probably bring it back.
I'd probably say that too, but it really depends. They'd fuck it up either way, but it really depends on how you book it. It does. Like,
Yeah,
I'd probably say Hardcore though, because it just feels like we've seen it be something cool. And Trios feels like, to me, it could be like watered down easily and just be like relegated to like a really like low card spot.
especially in WWE, they don't even do tag team very well. Like, imagine them trying to do a 3-person team and like have a solid division. Like, it'd just be the same. It'd be like the same teams facing each other over and over again.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's because I don't know what the roster is like right now, but is it even deep enough would be the question. If it's not, then you're right, Jeremy.
I mean, I think it'll be interesting now that they're like, bringing talent back and forth between promotions. It'll be interesting, but
that feels like that changes. Like, oh, you mean between like NXT and WWE?
I mean, well, isn't the TNA champion an NXT wrestler at this point?
Yeah, he just won it.
Like, I'm right. So I'm like, that's why I was talking between like NXT, TNA, and well, now like maybe AAA and all that other stuff.
If they got more promotions involved and they get deeper, then yeah, maybe they could be cross promo. That'd be interesting.
All right. Well, let's go into a quick round, just so we can wrap this up. And so here we go. WWE's Hell in a Cell or WCW's War Games? What do you prefer?
I'm gonna go Hell in a Cell just because War Games really wasn't. It was more before my time. Hell in a Cell is really my peak.
Hell in a Cell was so cool because they upped it at the right pace when we were growing up. They upped it at the right pace, and then they couldn't up it at one point, and then it
was a special match.
It was a special
they made
match.
it into a pay-per-view.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, now we need like, it didn't really, honestly, it just needs that one spot that just like blows you away. And unless Shane McMahon is willing to jump off the cell, like there was a lot of matches where people just wouldn't do that, which I agree. Like no one is like that insane, Mick Foley, Shane McMahon. There's like a handful of people. But some of the early Hell in a Cell matches were so cool as like kids growing up. So I'd have to go with that. It was like a must watch thing.
Starrcade or WrestleMania?
Oh God. That should be easy.
Yeah, it has to be WrestleMania.
It has to be.
The granddaddy of them all.
I can't forgive the Starrcade Sting thing ever. I can never forgive it. So, Anytime I hear Starcade, I just get kind of angry. So thanks, Cris.
Well, all right. Well, now I'm going to ask you to choose between Bash at the Beach or SummerSlam.
Ooh, this is a good one.
I'm probably gonna go Bash at the Beach. I am because I think.
I said at the start. Sorry, I said at the start. I was like, we don't have to agree on everything, and then like Jeremy and I are agreeing on everything. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think just for the fact of that one moment when Hulk Hogan joined the NWO, like it changed the wrestling business overnight. So you have to go Bash at the Beach. SummerSlam doesn't hit the same way.
If I'm not mistaken, no, I am mistaken. I was gonna say SummerSlam had the first TLC match with the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and
good
the Hardys, but I don't think that's true. I think the first TLC happened at WrestleMania or maybe SummerSlam, and then they took it to WrestleMania again.
The first one was like a triangle. I don't think it was called a TLC. It was called like
I think it was just a triangle ladder match.
Yeah,
there was no tables or chairs allowed.
Right, and then that's where they introduced TLC after that. So
I know what you mean, though, but it's basically the same. I mean, same kind of match, but yeah, no, Jeremy said it perfectly. I mean, you can't get rid of Bash at the Beach just for like that paper. I would watch that pay-per-view like in its entirety too, like just to lead up to that moment. It's like the amount of times they reference the third man in that pay-per-view is like.
Yep.
It's just so well done. They do it like 40 times leading up to it. It's so funny.
And I think one of the best things they do is when Hogan comes out, Bobby Heenan right away is like, he's the third man. He's the third man. And it's because it works so well because it's such a ridiculous thought at that time. That like that's what because Bobby Heenan was the heel announcer. So like of course he'd say the complete wrong thing.
Yeah,
and like oh yeah, that's him. And then when he actually turned, it's like I knew it. Like for once he was vindicated.
Yeah. That's true. I never thought of it that way. I always thought it as like he was spoiling it a little bit, but that's in retrospect. In the moment, it probably makes so much sense. Because you know what happens. Yeah.
All right, you WCW heads, Eric Bischoff as the Raw GM or the boss at WCW?
Has he done both?
Yeah.
You mean like which one do you like more?
Which one do you like more? Yeah.
Charlie, you can go first in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I gotta go. WCW boss was just I gotta go with that because he was just so peak. He was like he had so much cockiness and arrogance to him. He'll tell you that. He'll say that too. You know, I don't know if Jeremy knows him regularly or has seen him at shows or anything like that. But you know, if he were to meet us, he would tell us that.
Yeah, we get dinner all the time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. He was just such a little shit. It's the best version of Bischoff is when he's just like peak weaselness. And like he was peak weaselness when he was in WCW.
Absolutely. And I think there's only one version that beat up Jay Leno. And as a staunch Conan O'Brien supporter,
yes,
I'm 100% team anti-Leno. And so I have to go with WCW Eric Bischoff.
We support Conan on this podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have, let me just because I have it here, the Funko Pop from Conan when he did the he went to Mexico and produced his whole show. I think it was right before or right after COVID, and he did lucha training. So this is the Funko Pop that came along.
Oh my god, that is so random. I love that you have that.
Was that actually released or is that custom?
Yeah, no, it's if you look up Conan's Funko, I think Lucha Legend or something like that is called. You'll see that. I have that here.
Cool.
All right. So the last one for the quick round. Monday Night Raw intro or Raw is War intro.
So this is Monday Night Nitro intro.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Monday Night Nitro.
Or the Raw is War.
For me, it's Raw is War. I know.
Yeah, there was
You might
different
sway
ones.
the other way, but
Yeah.
I mean, they evolved over the year,
there's been
but
so many.
Even
the
after
Raw
the
is
intro, the dun, 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 like that beat. You know what I'm talking about? I think that is so iconic. With the red Raw's War shirt, like the dun, 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 dun. I don't know if I'm doing it correctly. You know what I'm talking about, right? Is Jeremy frozen? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay, he's got it. Okay.
No, I hear you.
He's looking for the
there,
Conan Funko.
He's he's distracted. You distracted him with the Conan.
They're actually very affordable.
Oh, we knew it. You knew it.
Wow, yeah, that's a good deal.
Is he clicking add to cart?
Well, I'll finish that transaction later. Yeah, the Raw is War. Yeah, I don't even really remember the music behind the Nitro. I just remember the like chain link fences, and then like with the logo being lit on fire.
Yes,
That's the Raw is War.
That was cool.
Yeah.
No, the WCW one. Or
The
fire.
The WCW one.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think Raw, this over the years, has always just been better.
Yeah.
I will make a plug for AEW. When Collision debuted and they had Saturday Nights All Right for Fighting, Battle and John, I was like, this is a good intro. Because it's kind of like how like Effie coming out to Yellow Brick Road like sets him apart, like having a non like metal entrance.
Yes, non-metal.
I think it brings something different. So
yeah, I remember you always said that about Effie's entrance. Yeah, and the slowness of it. It's a slow. You remember it. Yeah. That's really cool. You're throwing out the Nitro Girls though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, they're great. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't want to get rid of them, but I mean, I still get Lita. I still get Trish Stratus.
Take that any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, there are other ways to enjoy that aspect of wrestling.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. I think so. That's all I have. Unless you want to, bring something else up that we didn't touch on, Charlie. But I think this takes us to a 48-minute pod on Would You Rather Wrestling edition.
Jeremy, how did you enjoy your victory lap?
It was good. I mean, hey, if this isn't rated the worst podcast out of all of them, hey, maybe I'll be back for end of the year.
Okay.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's like a master list, right, where you just are constantly adjusting the best and worst ones.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
Update it weekly.
Yeah, I think so.
So if this gets more than 10 views, who knows? I might get back.
Okay. If we can hit that.
A little bit because I thought something was like clapping.
They are, dude. We're clapping for you. We're clapping up for the real Jeremy Zaha, everyone. Not the fake one, the real one.
No, yeah, and I still don't know why you started to call me that, but it's definitely a two heels in the face exclusive. And I do want to give you guys your flowers because you guys were the first podcast I was ever on. Way back in that office. I remember being weirded out because I think I might have been living in the suburbs still. And you're like, oh yeah, come to this like office building in the city. like after work, and I was like, what are we even gonna talk about? Like like I was listening to podcasts, I was like, what am I gonna say in this podcast? But you guys took a risk by having me on. I didn't get you canceled. Not
Sure.
yet. I mean, hey, you want maybe the very last episode, I just reveal all of my secret opinions and then really get you canceled. But yeah, you guys have done a great thing. The fact that you guys have made it almost 300 episodes is crazy. But and I know for a fact you guys aren't getting rich off of this. So just the fact that you're this passionate and like you've done great things for specifically the Chicago scene. I mean, a lot of the young wrestlers, they get excited to be on your podcast. Like that's their debut to kind of the scene and like to get exposed to new places. So you guys have done great work. You guys have earned your retirement. Hopefully you've saved well. Like hopefully the stock market, you've invested in the right stocks and kind of moved more to a safer stock in recent years. But yeah, enjoy your time away, and who knows, in a couple years, it might be two baby faces and a heel. The new version.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
You've earned
Your
it.
socials, where can people find you? As we take it home.
Yeah. You can probably follow me at. I usually shop at Jewel. You can figure out which Jewel that is. You can probably follow me there. You probably help me eat healthier. You kind of point out to where the vegetables are. I seem to miss those every time. I think there's also sometimes I will show up on the Forcing Tees Whatnot, so you can probably check that out. If you guys have if people out there seen the Whatnot, it's like a live web auction. We have at least like 8 shows a week. It's like crazy how many we're doing now. Most of them hosted by Cris of freelance fame. But Cole Cabana still does one show a week. The Super Show on Tuesday nights. Where else you can find me? I don't know. Wherever. Just kind of yell my name. I'm not Joe Hendry. I might not appear, but I might appear. So
say his name and he appears. I believe.
That's crazy. The technology here is insane. No, but I'm Jeremy. Say my name and I might appear. But yeah, so definitely check me out. You can go to ProWrestlingTees.com, obviously. That is where I work and where I spend most of my time. So
promo code the real
again,
Jeremy Saha. Or
yeah,
can we make that happen for like
double.
2% off?
You pay double if you use that. Yeah, so I mean, it's up to you. If you really want to support our business, you can use that promo code. But yeah, no, definitely. Hey, we're always there. We're always new stuff going on the website. So definitely check it out. And like I mentioned in the last episode, the Two Heels in the Face does have a store. You can go. There's 3 different versions. You can choose your favorite between Charley and Cris. So if you really hate one of them, you can buy the other one out of spite. It's probably the best way to support is out of spite.
There they are.
Coming up. There you go. Look at this.
Probably sold 1 year for the last 8 years, not even a half a year.
Hey, we have a lot of stores on there, and there are quite a few that we don't sell very many. So like 1 a year, you should be proud of. Okay. A lot of people, they post a store, they get a store, and then they just never post about it. And it's like, we have thousands of wrestler stores. Like, if you don't ever post your store, no one's going to go there. Like, they're not going to know it exists.
Yeah.
So you guys should be proud of every shirt you sold, because every shirt is a fan and a supporter. So if you only sold one, You got one more fan than me. As we know by the numbers of my podcast appearances. Man.
Oh,
Whew.
no, all your appearances have been great, dude. We've had a great time, having you on. We'll just tack those views and listens to Charlie's idea of the rabbit hole in YouTube. So it has nothing to
Oh,
do
God.
with
It's
You
fair.
see how Chris put that idea on me, like blame that complete idea. I think it was my idea. So kind of
But
a
it's
bad
all
one.
good.
was fun.
Sure, that's
We
what
had
matters.
fun.
Yeah.
Exactly. So thanks once again. And towards the end of the year, I think the 300th episode is just gonna be a big mess. It's gonna be probably a live episode, so you
It
can
might be
just
like a
jump in.
3-hour drunk live stream. I think that's Chris. Is that
That's
kind
kind
of
of what it's
on?
looking like. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
And that's when I take my shirt off of.
that is when you take your
You
shirt
can
off.
do whatever you want.
That's when you
And then
cancel.
that shirt will be auctioned off after
Oh yeah, and the next whatnot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
in whatnot.
We're gonna
Yep.
start a whatnot
Exactly.
stream right after with the shirt.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right. As we take it home, just make sure you check out twoheelsontheface.com. Number 2heelsontheface.com. That's where you will see episodes, articles, and pretty much all the archive library of Two Heels in the Face. And we'll just, be on for, the next, 6 months? I mean,
Yep.
we're on the road to 300.
The
So
road to 300. Thanks for helping us, Jeremy. Appreciate you.
No problem. I've been just a minor speed bump.
thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you.